I wanted to remake the video of making custom labels from home. That way you could use them for your small business or just for your personal products. I already made one, but I realized in that video that I ended up putting a scene twice. So it was just repetitive and I felt so bad because I usually review all my content, but it was one of my first videos, so totally understand that. But that's why today I'm going to be redoing it. And I also noticed that my voice was kind of low in some of the parts, so I'm going to try to have my microphone with me so it helps me to keep, a consistent voice. If by any means, the audio is not as you would like, I'm sorry about that. I'm barely starting off my channel, but your support helps me to keep growing and then eventually be able to buy better equipment. That's it for right now. Let's get started with making labels. And don't forget to like this video because it really helps with the engagement and there's so much effort that goes behind this. So please make sure to interact with it, leave a comment, leave a like, and you can also make sure to subscribe because I am constantly posting some real videos. So first things first, I am going to be using my Cricut. I already mentioned you don't necessarily need to have a Cricut. They do have different models as well as different brands of cutters that you can buy. But because of this video, I am using my Cricut. Just wanted to clarify that. Let's get this plugged in. And I appreciate this product because it's only one cord. Usually other devices require two cords and that can be a little bit difficult because the outlet gets full. Now that it's set up, I'm going to turn on my laptop. I'm going to put it on this corner. It's better to have all your items close by. And I'm not sure if I'm going to post the video, but I redid my room recently. Let me just close out my notes real quick. I do study the Bible in the morning, so that's what I have available. The Cricut app, I usually have it on my home screen, but I guess I refreshed my laptop. And I'm also glad I won't be having to make a coffee. I went to McDonald's last night and I just took a little sip because I also had a tea. So for right now, we're having our coffee. You guys, I was literally forgetting that I had switched out my laptops because I just bought this one and I transferred some documents, but the Cricut app did not transfer, so I'm downloading that right now, but the video is going to continue same as it would. But just in case you also are new with your device, you will have to download the platform. Right now I'm like halfway through, so we'll continue from there. So we got the app downloaded. Let's go ahead and open that up to get our device set up and ready to go. And let me just put in my login information. Now the app is signed in. I click on my stuff to open up files that I have created. Today I'm going to print out some lettering for my keychains. These are all custom made by me. I want to make double of the project, so I duplicated it. It doesn't need to be perfectly aligned since when you get to the make screen, you're going to have to readjust. So now we hit make to start creating the project. Let that load a little bit. Okay, I'll just cut it out here to not make you guys wait. See, now we get to this screen. This is the part where you would have to reorganize all these pieces. That's why I said don't worry about it on the previous slide, because I used to spend so much time trying to accommodate it before, and then I would end up on this page and I was like, what? Didn't I just fix this? You can zoom in. Now I have my pieces more or less lined up. I'm going to grab my ruler. I like to double check it in that manner. I have to use this big old one right here. I couldn't find the smaller one. This is the way that I would usually do it, is just measure out the distance from the starting point to the end point and see if the bigger letter of the top lines up with this in the middle. I hope that makes sense. This is one of the most important steps. If you do not mirror it, your product will not come out correctly. The material without the mat. I'm not using the mat, but it depends if you are using the mat. That's dependent on your vinyl. I have mine over here. I'm using the Smart Iron-On. And I have always used the Smart Iron-On because I don't have to use the mat that they provide for you. So let's start taking this out because our product is ready to cut. Okay, let's load in the paper. It has to be shiny side down. Also another important part, if you do not do that, your product is not going to be correct. Make sure to set up your material. It's going to tell you right here all the different names. I'm using Smart Iron-On. That's the one that I select. For you, it'll just depend if you're using the mat or if you're not using the mat, things like that. Now we already loaded the paper. Let me slide it again. I click go and now it's getting started with cutting the project. If you have a lot of small details and since these are labels, it'll take a little bit longer to get all the little cuts. Okay, I came to the other side of my room over here. Now in the waiting, it's going to take a few minutes. So right now what I would do is set up my heat source. I'm going to be using this iron. It's not plugged in, so don't worry because I put it so close to my face. But I'm going to let this warm up and get the fabric ready to press the little letters once they're already finished. When you're pressing, you need to have a heat resistant source. What I use is this little piece of towel right here. I've always used it for crafting. So this is what I, apply the heat pressure onto so it doesn't burn my desk, because this all costs money. So we want to protect our items as much as we can, but I'm going to be using this together with the iron. Now, when it comes to deciding what you're going to add your letters onto, you have two options. I'm going to show them to you. The first one is you can apply it onto cotton fabric, or if you want something a little bit more firm and sturdier, you can also use canvas material. I'm going to show you a close-up so you can see the difference and get an idea, but those are two options that you have. Sorry, I don't know why I went like this. That would be four. Two options. That's what you have for right now. So let me get that little close-up. I'm going to put this back because my bin of fabric is super full. Close-up, this is the cotton material. It's just a smooth texture. The next one is the canvas. This one is more firm. Putting them side by side gives you a better idea. Before doing that press, you want to make sure you put your heat resistant pad underneath. That way you're not burning anything. If you happen to move one of the letters, just reaccommodate it. I accidentally had pushed on this one. Okay, everything looks good. Preheating, but now I had turned it on again just to make sure that I had some good heat to it. Just press it for a few seconds and then you're going to remove. I usually just press it down a little bit to make sure that it's nice and firm, since the canvas is a thicker type of material. And this one's already peeling by itself, but you want to make sure that the heat is applied well to it. I'm also going to do another press afterwards. So this is right now just to adhere the letters to get that glue going. Once it does dry a little bit, I can go ahead and peel it. See, like this one was a smooth peel. Let's try this next one. Letters coming out a little bit, so I let it grab some more heat. This one, the E is a little bit delicate. Okay, we're still going to do another press, so this is just the first one. Plastic is peeled out. Now to do a final press, you're not going to put the heat source on top of it, otherwise the letters can stick onto something like the iron. So what I do is I flip it around. That way it gives it, the protection over here. So I'm going to press this side of it a few seconds. Then just remove it. Let's flip it around, make sure everything looks great. You see all the letters are still intact and it's a smooth finish. Next, we're cutting the excess fabric. Remember to leave some spacing in between the corners, so the top, the bottom, left, right, everywhere all around it. Don't cut too close to the lettering itself. It has to be in the middle. This is the good part because now we have these squares and that lets us know we're almost finished. For our first label, you want to fold the edges. Make sure that you are leaving space so the needle does not puncture one of the letters. And this is a good method because then you can connect the other label, which is the same thing, the edges folded. So this will be fed through the sewing machine and then you can easily just connect the other one. And I'll show you that as I'm using my machine. So let's get our sewing machine ready. First label, again, we're just going to do a straight stitch all the way down. When we get to the end of it, don't disconnect it. Connect the next label instead. Straight stitch. And you just continue like that. Now in this part, I wouldn't disconnect it just yet because you can actually continue. So now we're going to do the opposite side. Same thing. You want to fold down, make sure that you're leaving space. And that way we're not lifting up our needle during this process, but rather it makes it a lot simpler and quicker to do the seams on it. Next one, make sure to fold it, leaving a gap. Feed it through the machine. You can create a chain of however many you want. I would probably just do a few at a time if it's your first time, so you can see if you're like the length of it. Now that we've gotten to the final part, we can go ahead and disconnect it because now we have to fold the top and the bottom, but we can see our edges look nice and smooth. Just cut in between these labels. And it's going to be the same process of doing the edges. Do the bottom and then connect the next one. So now we have the edges all done, but in order to finalize it and make it look a little bit better, I like to go ahead and cut out the excess. So from what we folded, it already has that seam, right? But these little corners, I just snip it so it gives it like a little angle. And then same thing on this side, since when I flip it around, it does stick out. when I cut this corner, it helps it to give it a more clean look right here. It's not sticking out anymore. It's just this little threads, but of course you just gotta cut around that. Let's snap that. And now you can see it has a straighter edge right here. So the back can look crazy, but nobody sees that. So what matters is the front. And I'm going to do the same thing for this portion. Just cut out the corners of it. And after all of that is done, you're finally ready to put your label onto your product. And once you sew around it, just create the same thing, a straight stitch all the way around. And it's going to look perfect just like this. So you can create little products. Well, my other phone ran out of battery, but I was just saying that then you can have your perfect little products. So I hope you guys really like this video. Make sure that you give it a like. It really helps with the engagement, and I can keep on creating more videos. Leave me a comment as well. What do you think of the final result? Is it what you expected? Is there any part of the process that made things click for you? Like, oh wow, that makes it so much more easier. I really hope you got the value out of it, and I'll see you whenever I post a next video.